Hi all, in this video we'll talk about the verify phase of Maven Build Lifecycle. So goal of verify phase is to run the integration test cases inside your project. And how Maven does identify the integration test cases. So it goes to src test Java. It looks for all the classes whose name either ends with IT or it starts with IT or name ends with ITCase. Such classes are integration test classes. In my case, app ITCase is an integration test class, and inside that I have three integration test cases: check wire and fuse integration, where I am printing this statement, checking wire and fuse integration. We have check pipeline and water supply integration test, where I am printing this statement, checking pipeline and water supply integration. I have third test case, check doors and walls, and I am printing this statement over here. Okay, for now I am just commenting this assert statement. Now, which plugin is responsible to run these integration test cases? So answer is Failsafe Plugin is responsible to run the integration test cases. And as every phase of Maven Build Lifecycle has some goals, like compile phase has a goal to compile the source code. Similarly, verify phase has two goals. One is a integration test, second one is a verify. What's the difference between these two goals? So if we use this goal, verify goal, it will mark the overall build status as fail if any of the integration test case fails, while integration test goal will always mark overall build status as success irrespective of result of integration test cases. Even though integration test case is failing, still it will mark overall build status as success. Okay, and these are my unit test cases, where I am printing the few statements. Like I have three unit test cases: check brakes, where I am printing checking brakes statement; check wire unit test case, where I am printing checking wire statement; check pipeline test case, unit test case, where I am printing checking pipeline. If I go and execute my mvn verify, what it will do? It will execute my integration test case, but by default every Maven phase execute its previous phases as well. So it will execute the integration test case, but before that it will compile the project, it will package the project, and it will run the unit test cases as well. So you see here, these are my unit test cases. Using Surefire, these are running. There are three test cases: checking brakes, checking pipeline, checking wire. It is printing the statement from the unit test cases. There were total 3 unit test cases, all test cases executed. Then it started integration test cases using Failsafe plugin. Okay, it printed all the statement. It checking doors and walls integration, pipeline and water supply integration, wire and fuse integration. There were total 3 integration test cases. So total test run were 3. And overall build status is success. Now what I'll do, I'll go in my integration test class and I'll uncomment this assert. So basically what I'm trying to do, I am purposefully failing this test case, check doors and walls, by using this asserted statement where actual result and expected result are different. Now what I'll do, I'll again execute Maven verify. So this time what will happen? Last time we executed overall build status was success. This time, because one of the test case, check doors and walls, which is the integration test case, is failing, so overall build status would be build failure. See, this is the overall build status is build failure, because check doors and walls, this is the integration test fail. We had total 3 integration test cases, one is failed, so that is why overall build status is failure. But if I run same setup with Maven integration test, integration test, even though one test case, integration test case, check doors and walls is failing, overall build status would be marked as build success. So that's the difference between integration test and verify. So you see, overall build status is success, even though this test case is failed. Total test run were 3 and 1 was failed. So that's the difference between integration test and verify. Now if you see, every time you execute the verify phase, previous phase gets executed. So unit test case also gets executed. Say you want to skip those unit test case while running the integration test case. And why do you want to skip the unit test case? Because you already tested your application, you already executed unit test case, and you know these test cases are pass. So this time you just want to execute your integration test cases. So how can we skip these unit test cases? If I go on Maven documentation, I see this is a Surefire plugin documentation, because Surefire plugin is responsible for the unit test case execution. So they say this is the switch, or this is the, you can use any of to skip the unit test case. Let's say I am using this. I'll clear this. I'll say Maven integration test, and I'll use this, and see if only integration tests are running, and it is skipping the unit test. So what happened? We found it skipped the unit test, but it also skipped the integration test. What we'll do? Let's try same with the verify to see if it is working. So it started executing, and again we see the same result. It skipped the integration test as well along with the unit test case. So how to achieve this? So for that, if you want to skip the unit test cases and just want to run the integration test cases, so you'll go to Surefire plugin, which is responsible for the unit test cases. Inside that, we'll create a tag skip test, and in this tag I have put a variable skip unit test. Okay, so to put a variable in a pom.xml, you will put a $sign, and then inside curly braces you can put a variable name. You can put any name for this variable. I used skip unit test, and default value of this variable I am putting in the properties section. In properties section, this is the variable skip unit test. I am saying default value is false, means by default you don't need to skip the unit test cases. Now if I go here and I say Maven verify, and instead of that I will use my variable which I created in pom.xml file. Okay, let me copy that and I'll put it here. It's going to true, and see if it runs only the integration test and skips the unit test. Yes, so it skips the unit test cases and it is running the integration test cases. Okay, and there are total 3 tests. One is fail. Which one is failed? Check doors and walls is fail, because we are using verify. So overall build status is failure. Good. Same, let's try with the integration, and here again we will use our variable is equal to true. We'll run this. It will exhibit the same behavior, means it will skip the unit test case, it will run the integration test case. Only difference is overall build status would be build success, because we are using integration test. Overall build status is success. Total tests run 3. Failure is 1. Which one is fail? Check doors and walls is fail, and it skipped the unit test cases. Okay, it skipped the unit test cases, this, and it executed integration test case using Failsafe plugin. Okay, so that is how verify phase works. And if you go to a target folder of your application, Maven Lifecycle target, inside target you will see this Failsafe report. Inside Failsafe report you will see this emailable HTML report, and if you open with Google you can see the detailed report, HTML report over here. Thank you. So this is about the verify phase of Maven Build Lifecycle.